NBA Finals for the 7th time in 18 seasons. And awaiting them are the championship debuting Denver Nuggets, who have arguably the best basketball player in the world, Nikola Jokic. The two-time MVP is already one of the best centers in NBA history. At his side, Jamal Murray, perhaps among the best players in the NBA never to be an All-Star. And they also boast an elite supporting cast highlighted by Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Bruce Brown, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, along with a proficient and defiant head coach in Michael Malone. Jokic and Murray's modern-day Tim Duncan and Tony Parker-like combination, one that plays beautiful basketball for purists and nerds alike, often overlooked in mainstream conversations. Speaking of overlooked, they face the Heat. They're the toughest team in the NBA, who thrive off immeasurable self-belief, scientific execution, and virtuoso head coach Eric Spoelstra, along with Jimmy Butler, an all-world playoff performer who averaged about 25, 8, 6, and 3 against the Boston Celtics en route to an Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The Heat are 12-6 in this year's playoffs, 9-5 as betting underdogs, and 3-1 as betting favorites. Yes, they've only been favored.
Come on, don't do this to me, baby.
I guess they've only been favored a couple times. But, guys, we are here. The Miami Heat.
Arguably the best defensive player on the planet, who will be tasked with containing the world's most dangerous man dribbling a basketball. Can the Heat's unlikely heroes of Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent, among others, continue causing recalibrations regarding what their best actually is? And the elephant in the room. On November 8th, 2021, Markieff Morris fouled Jokic hard on a fast break and then walked away. But as he did, Jokic shoulder tackled Morris after building up a head of steam, injuring Morris, who didn't return until 4 months later. There was some arguing and that infamous locker room photo, but now we're here. Will the Nuggets win a title in their first NBA Finals, or will the Heat continue making the impossible possible, winning a 4th NBA championship in the process? I'm Brian Fonseca, and welcome back to the NBA Finals.
That was our boy Brian Fonseca with a beautifully narrated intro to the NBA Finals. Guys, we are here. I don't know how the hell we're here as an 8th seed, making it all the way here to the NBA playoffs, or NBA Finals after the season we've had. Guys, doesn't matter how we got here. We are here. Final 2, us, Denver Nuggets. We're at Denver. So is Mateo. So is Ethan. Mateo, just before we get into the X's and O's of this game, how's the vibe out there in Denver? Oh, well, he's just connecting, so... Right now, we don't have a live look at what's going on in Denver, but getting into tonight's game.
Jonathan, you hear me?
There we go. I think we can hear you now.
Man, it is rocking in this building. Fans are starting to come inside.
Just like the Miami Heat.
I'm starting to lose service because so many people are starting to get in this area, but this is the city.
We'll make it to the end of the show regardless. We got Alejandro Villegas in the back. We got Mateo circling right there right now. I think he's back. Seems like, okay, there we go. We got Mateo back. Like I said, guys, we're going to make it work regardless. Mateo, how's the vibes out there in Denver?
It's pretty much rocking, man. This is the city's first NBA Finals. They haven't been in a championship round since the 76 ABA Finals. They have arguably the best team in all of basketball right now. They waxed the Los Angeles Lakers in the conference finals. They look like the team to beat right now, and the city knows it. So it looks like a good game. It looks like it's going to be a good series, actually, rather. Mute, I think.
Muted. So we got a new sponsor here at the pregame show. So we want to thank one of our newest sponsors here, which is All Pro Construction Builders. And if you're a South Florida resident, you know hurricane season is starting today. You want to make sure that you protect your home, protect your business. So you want to contact All Pro Construction Builders. They specialize in impact windows and doors for both residential and commercial properties. All Pro Construction Builders is a state-certified licensed and insured general contractor, and they service Miami-Dade and Monroe counties. They only use American-made products as well, and they're a family-owned and operated business, so you will only deal with the owner from start to finish. They offer competitive pricing, but yes, quality service. So make sure you guys contact them for a free estimate. You see the number on the screen, 305-484-4429. and reach out to the Heat fan Danny and his family at allproconstructionbuilders.com. If you mention 5 Reasons Sports, you will get a 10% discount. So make sure you guys take advantage of that, guys. Like I said, hurricane season is upon us, and we know the Hurricanes were able to make it pretty deep in the NCAA finals. So make sure that you get your house protected for some hurricanes down in South Florida, guys. And obviously, we got prize picks as well. Promo code for that is 5 to double your initial deposit of $200. We'll get back more into that when we get down the line. But Teo, let's break down some X's and O's. You're one of the smartest guys here at the 5 Reasons Sports Network. That's why you're live covering the game for us, my man. Appreciate you. First of all, congratulations on this opportunity of covering the finals. I hope you're having an amazing time. Hope the experience is going very well for you. Proud of you, man, for making it and doing this, getting out there. But let's get to tonight's game, man. Obviously, Denver is a powerhouse team because of their star player, Nikola Jokic, right? And I don't think there's any player in the league that can really one-on-one slow him down. But I want to ask, what do you think Miami is going to try to do defensively to maybe make it hard for him to get his numbers?
You know, it's so hard because when he's on the floor, I don't think you can throw out the 2-3 zone because he is so smart. He's one of the best mid-range threats in the league as a playmaker and as a scorer. He would break the 2-3 zone immediately. But here's the problem with playing straight up man-to-man coverage. If you're in single coverage, you know, Bam Adebayo is one of the league's best defenders, but he's a little bit smaller than Jokic. He's not as strong. And when he came to Miami, it seemed like Bam really couldn't do much staying in front of Nikola Jokic. So it's tough. You know, when he gets to the elbow or a little bit closer to the rim, you may have to double him, and you're going to have to recover so quickly once the pass is made to the perimeter. You got to hope it doesn't get to the corner so they don't, you know, light you up from the opening spot. But it's really hard to guard him. But really, one of the things you're going to have to do is they love to run pick and roll with him and Murray, but with Murray as the screener. So whoever's guarding Jokic, most likely Bam Adebayo, is going to have to fight hellaciously over Murray without getting caught for a foul.
Yeah, and I think that's an excellent point. The pick and roll, not only what they do offensively, but Miami, I think, is going to want to try to put Nikola Jokic in as many pick and roll actions as possible, because the good thing about this matchup, Denver, as good as they are offensively, the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks are much better defensive teams. And this is going to probably be a much easier matchup for somebody like Jimmy Butler to find his spots or attack the rim without a guy like Jokic being as close. So what do you think Miami's advantages coming into these matchup versus playing a defense as good as Boston or Denver?
Well, someone like Jimmy Butler, who's getting to the free throw line 9 times a game in these playoffs, you know, when they go to pick and roll, the Denver Nuggets primarily defend this in the drop. And this is good for the Heat because with Nikola Jokic in the back, I would try to challenge him, you know, try to put him in foul trouble, also, you know, limit what the Nuggets can do offensively. But here's the thing. Sometimes when they don't go to the drop, they try to blitz the pick and roll with Jokic. This leaves them heavily exposed to pass the ball to the middle or then find the opening in the corner. But, you know, primarily drop based, and, you know, I would attack the big man in the middle or hovering in the back every time if I'm Jimmy Butler. You know, someone like him requires immediate double teams once they've entered the 5-foot range. So I would expect the Nuggets to overhelp or overcommit, and it's really going to be a night where I think one of the Robins for each team shines because each team is going to be trying to send so much help at the main guy for the other squad.
That's actually the next question I was going to get to you, because schematically, like you said, the defense that Denver is going to deploy against an attacking, probing Jimmy Butler, and maybe even attacking, probing Caleb Martin, as of what we've seen, they're going to be forced to help a lot extra. They're not, like I said, they have length, but they don't necessarily have the rim protection like maybe other teams do. So who do you feel this series is made for? Like, which candidate on the Miami Heat that's not named Bam Adebayo, Caleb Martin, or Jimmy Butler, do you think is posed for a breakout just schematically by the way Denver is going to defend us?
Well, if I can't pick those guys, I'm going to pick Gabe Vincent. You know, Jamal Murray is not a bad defender. There are times when he gets lazy, but he's kind of like Kyrie Irving in this sense. When he really turns it on, he can turn into, you know, I don't want to say lockdown, but, you know, very effective in spurts of the game. You know, I think, you know, Bam Adebayo is going to be hellacious screening to try to get Gabe Vincent open. The other guys as well. I think Gabe Vincent will, you know, be able to eviscerate the Denver Nuggets in the drop coverage, especially in the elbow or at the top of the key or on the wings. He is someone to look out for in this series, especially in, you know, after a steal in transition too.
Definitely. And I want to give a shout out to one of the guys in the comments, HM, our guy joining us multiple seasons in a row, watching us, saying the Heat will be fine. Nuggets don't play good team defense and don't have the individual defenders of Milwaukee or Boston. They also don't have a rim protector. That's exactly what I was saying. Mark Pink 13, appreciate you. Mash that like button. Absolutely, guys. If you're new to 5 Reasons Sports Network and you love South Florida sports, you guys know ESPN. They won't really cover us until we make it this far. So if you want to make sure all season long you're getting Miami Heat sports, post-game interviews, post-game podcast, pregame coverage, make sure you guys subscribe to us here on YouTube. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. So that way you get all of the up-to-date news on the Miami Heat as well. So appreciate you guys for joining us. Obviously, HM, our guy in the comments, thank you for always joining us, my man. And Triple H, of course, I'm a big wrestling fan. He said, I would let Bam bring the ball up. That's an interesting point as well, because I think if Bam brings the ball up, and I'm not sure if they're going to put Gordon or if they're going to put Jokic on him to start off with, but if you have Jokic on him to start off with, Bam bringing up the ball makes this an excellent, it just gives it an excellent opportunity to allow Jokic to get more tired. So if you have Jimmy screening for Bam, then you're going to open up things just like how you have Denver Murray screening for Jokic. I think that can open up things as well. So I'd love to see Jimmy screening for Bam. I think that would open things up for Miami. I think, like you said, defensively, even if Jokic isn't able to recover and they send 2, they're going to be able to find that pass. Bam's passing this offseason has been some of the best that I've seen in his entire career. Now, don't get me wrong. He's been fumbling the ball when he gets it and he's going up for a shot, but he hasn't been really fumbling the ball when he's trying to make a pass. He's not typically making bad passes. His turnovers are usually people swiping down on him. He has the ball too low for a big man. It should keep it high, but those are where his turnovers come from. But let's get into our prize picks, guys. And obviously, if you're going to prize picks and you're playing daily fantasy, you want to make sure that you maximize your money. So use that promo code 5. We'll match your initial deposit up to $100. Guys, that's 20 free plays. So if you're looking to make some money, go to prizepicks.com. Like I said, use that promo code 5. Spell it out, F-I-V-E. We'll give you up to a free $100, and we're going to give you some picks today. So I'm going to see if we can share the screen over here and get that going. But for prize picks, guys, what the best part about it, it's daily fantasy. You don't have to worry about your players getting hurt, anything like that. And obviously, you guys can see right here, we got Nikola Jokic, chubby old Nikola with 0.5 points. So if he scores a bucket, that's your prize pick promo for the day. Stack that with everything else. We're obviously not going to go less on that. We're going to go more on that. So that's going to be our first pick for the day. Now, let's go to you, Mateo. Who do you want to take a look at on the board?
Let's go Caleb Martin. He's there.
Let's take a look at Caleb Martin. All right, so they have him. Oh, they have deflections now. That is a very interesting. They have crunch time points. They're adding a lot more here on prize picks. These are some new promotions or some new opportunities that are able to be took there. They have 1.5 blocks and steals, 16 points, which is actually quite high, even though he's been averaging a good amount. 16 points for there, 6.5 rebounds, 13 field goals attempted, and 5.5 3-points attempted.
Let's go with the points.
You like over on the points?
You know, I am going to go over on the points. You know, for like the last 5 or so games, he's been the Heat's second best scorer. He's been tremendous, especially like in transition as like elite, as a trailing sniper. You give him the ball, he just hits the freaking, or just makes the shot. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous myself out here. But you know, he's also good off the dribble. There was one possession where he took Marcus Smart off the dribble, and Smart was complaining to the ref as he was up in the air hitting the shot. It was, you know, fabulous. He is going to be the player that I think is going to be the second leading scorer for the Heat, or possibly even the first, because both teams schematically are designed to shut down each team's Batman.
So I was curious if I was just blind or if something was going wrong. No, they actually have Michael Jordan's face. If I scroll down here, you guys will see it. They have Michael Jordan's face on Jimmy Butler on prizepicks.com. So that's freaking hilarious. But I want to take a look at some of his props. Obviously, the free throw prop is one of the best opportunities you have there. So let's see where his free throw prop is. One dunk. I'm not going to take that quite because of what I saw last game when he was attacking the rim. Or not last game, it was game 6. When he was attacking the rim, he wasn't able to actually get that dunk in. It looks like maybe that ankle still might be bothering him. So I'm not going to take the dunk prop, but I do expect an aggressive Jimmy Butler to attack the matchups that he has. I mean, if you get somebody like a Michael Porter Jr. or an Aaron Gordon, I think he's just too crafty for those guys to defend him, even though they're a little bit bigger. So I like the 8 free throws made for Jimmy. I just think this is what this all comes down to, right? This is 4 more is what he wears on a short shirt, because he knows this is what it's all about. Like, he didn't care about the Eastern Conference Championship. He didn't even want to hold it when Bam offered it to him. He just wanted to go and get the finals championship. Obviously, this is a tough test playing one of the best offensive players with Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. But obviously, you guys, Jimmy Butler is here to play. Who else do you want to take a look at, Mateo?
Let's go Bam. But real quick before you say that, that instance where Bam handed Jimmy the trophy and he didn't want it, it reminded me of like 5 years ago when someone was going to hand the AFC trophy to Bill Belichick and he got it and instantly tossed it off. It was hilarious. But go on. Give me Bam.
So they got 16.5 points, 3.5 assists. Let's see what else they have. 6.5 field goals made, which is pretty low in my opinion.
Let's go with the rebounds. It's at 9 right now. I'm going to go with the over because right now the Denver Nuggets are a team that pulled down 12 offensive boards a night that turn into like 16 second chance points. Those, it's not like leading the league in that category for the Nuggets, but it's some back-breaking stuff, and those are things that can really hurt you. The Heat are going to need Bam to be big on the defensive end tonight and also on the offensive end, make Jokic work, but I would go high on the rebounds tonight. Definitely.
No, I think that's an excellent point. Like you said, defending the rebound tonight is going to be super, super key. The tips that Nikola Jokic, he's just so crafty with tipping the ball to himself and then putting it right back up. Not doing what Bam does and bringing the ball low. He just keeps the ball really high and is able to get it right back over the rim. So, guys, like I said, make sure you use that promo code 5, double your initial deposit up to $100, and make sure you guys use Flex Play. So that way, even if you get 1 out of the 4 wrong, you still win some money, right? So you always want to make sure you're winning money no matter what when it comes to betting. Use good betting tactics. Make sure you compound your money. Don't blow it all in one bet. That's not the way you do it. You build your money slowly. That way it lasts longer. Build a deeper the foundation, higher the ceiling, my guys. So let's get into predictions. I'll start us off. Mateo, I'll let you close us out because I'm probably not going to have the prediction most people want to hear. I think this is a tough win for Miami tonight. Coming off of 7 games, going deep with Boston, we know this team is banged up. Bam's shoulder, Jimmy's knee/ankle. People are saying that it's fine. I'll say otherwise based on what I've seen in the last couple of games from Jimmy. I'm not sure he's 100% Jimmy Butler, but at this point of the year, really, who's at 100%? I think this is Denver's game to win. I think Miami is going to have a little bit of a hard time with the elevation. Miami hasn't won in Denver since 2016, guys. It's been 7 years. I think once they get a little more acclimated, game 2 is the game we'll be more likely to steal. And Coach Spo is one of the best at making the adjustments from game to game. So obviously I'm a Heat fan, so hopefully we pull this out tonight. But I do think offensively we're going to have a tough time containing Nikola Jokic. I think even if we're able to, do different things like with the zone, he's the perfect zone buster because he can stay right in the middle of the paint. He can hit that jumper, and he can pass to the pocket. So no matter what you do, it's really tough for me to see a defensive matchup against Jokic. I'm looking forward to see what Spo does against him. Obviously, we didn't see much Zeller, or maybe we saw too much Zeller in the Celtics series, but a little bit of Zeller, a little bit of Kevin Love. Both of them weren't really made out for that series. I think this is the series where both of those guys have a little bit more of a role. And I'm curious to see what we do with Jamal Murray as well. Obviously, I didn't mention him as much, but I think Miami has a lot more tools to just throw at Jamal Murray versus Nikola Jokic. I think between maybe a small Gabe Vincent, but a Caleb Martin, a Haywood Highsmith, a Jimmy Butler, right? Bam Adebayo can switch onto him. You have 5 guys I just named off my list that can guard him right off the top. So I think it's going to be a lot harder for us to slow down Jokic. I'm curious to see what the defensive plan Spo came up with because he's a fucking madman. We all know that. But that's going to be the exciting part about tonight. Mateo, I'm going to let you close it out. What you feeling about tonight, brother?
Like about half an hour ago, Jimmy Butler came out to the court and to warm up, and he was cashing everything from the outside. So it may look like one of those nights for him. And right now, I'm going to lean with a Heat victory in a close game. And to tell you the truth, it's for this reason. They played on Monday night, and the Denver Nuggets haven't played since May 22nd. That was 11 days ago. It's human nature, to when you're not repeating the same actions, to not be as sharp when you come back and do them again. I just think the Heat are in a little bit more rhythm. They got super high confidence winning a Game 7 on the road. I think Game 1 is theirs for the taking.
So I'll let you close it out, my boy. So appreciate you guys joining us as always. If you, like I said, you're new to the channel, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the network. Make sure you guys check out all the finals coverage we got here, not just for the Miami Heat, but for the Florida Panthers as well, making it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. What a run for South Florida teams that we've had this year so far. In college basketball, professional basketball, hockey, Miami or South Florida sports is just doing it right. So, like I said, thank you guys, as always, for joining us. We'll see you guys after the game.
Peace.
NBA Finals for the 7th time in 18 seasons. And awaiting them are the championship debuting Denver Nuggets, who have arguably the best basketball player in the world, Nikola Jokic. The two-time MVP is already one of the best centers in NBA history. At his side, Jamal Murray, perhaps among the best players in the NBA never to be an All-Star. And they also boast an elite supporting cast highlighted by Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Bruce Brown, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, along with a proficient and defiant head coach in Michael Malone. Jokic and Murray's modern-day Tim Duncan and Tony Parker-like combination, one that plays beautiful basketball for purists and nerds alike, often overlooked in mainstream conversations. Speaking of overlooked, they face the Heat. They're the toughest team in the NBA, who thrive off immeasurable self-belief, scientific execution, and virtuoso head coach Eric Spoelstra, along with Jimmy Butler, an all-world playoff performer who averaged about 25, 8, 6, and 3 against the Boston Celtics en route to an Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The Heat are 12-6 in this year's playoffs, 9-5 as betting underdogs, and 3-1 as betting favorites. Yes, they've only been favored 4 times in 18 playoff games. The Heat, of course, have Bam Adebayo, arguably the best defensive player on the planet, who will be tasked with containing the world's most dangerous man regarding what their best actually is. And the elephant in the room. On November 8th, 2021, Markieff Morris fouled Jokic hard on a fast break and then walked away. But as he did, Jokic shoulder tackled Morris after building up a head of steam, injuring Morris, who didn't return until 4 months later. There was some arguing and that infamous locker room photo, but now we're here. Will the Nuggets win a title in their first NBA Finals, or will the Heat continue making the impossible possible, winning a 4th NBA championship in the process? I'm Brian Fonseca, and welcome back to the NBA Finals.
Pat Graham, Associated Press. I just want to talk to you a little bit about altitude. And you guys are here. What have you heard about it? Do you believe in does altitude bother you? And how do you acclimate in this brief of time?
I mean, we played here before, so it's not some like folklore that no one's seen before. You know, a lot of us have played here, you know, a handful of times. So it's nothing new. We don't expect it to have any sort of impact.
On the right side, second row.
Duncan, Matt Moore, Action Network. You guys have played a lot of different teams, obviously. You faced Giannis, you faced Tatum and the Celtics. What is it that's different about this team from what you've seen in the playoffs so far?
Yeah, I mean, they're playing really well. You know, they have a handful of guys that can beat you on any given night. Obviously, starts with, you know, those main two, Jokic and Murray. So really talented offensively, and they're going to make you work for everything, you know, defensively. So, you know, they pose a great challenge for us. We're excited about it. Definitely, they play differently a little bit than some of the other teams that we played. Just, you know, so much of their offense being focused around those two, but both those guys are such willing passers as well. So it'll be a good challenge.
Staying on the right side, fourth row.
Duncan, Mike Cunio, CBS News Miami. I know the whole undrafted thing has been a storyline that's been played out this whole postseason. But for you personally, these last 5-6 years, do you ever take a second to look how far you've come personally and professionally as a player?
Yeah, there's lots of moments, you know, kind of when there's a pause in the action, I guess, if you will, to kind of step back and be appreciative of the journey. I mean, when you're in it throughout the day-to-day, you're just kind of focused on what's next, and obviously your perspective shifts and changes as you advance in your career and you want more for yourself because, you know, we're all competitive people. But there's always moments to be able to kind of sit back and reflect. A lot of it comes from sharing memories and experiences with people that have kind of been around for the entirety of the journey, you know, family, friends, people in my corner that are able to kind of offer me that perspective. So, you know, I value those moments and conversations, you know, very much so with those people in particular.
On the left side, fourth row.
Paulina, NBA Mexico. I just gave you a Polaroid when you were in Mexico. What do you remember about that games? And also, how has it changed since last December till now in the finals, your role in the team?
Yeah, Mexico City was an amazing experience. I just remember the excitement, the energy in that arena. From when we got out there, like shooting around in warm-ups, and an hour plus before the game, it was basically packed, and just the entire country, it felt like, just excited to have us there, and it was definitely a memorable game to be able to win that one. And a lot's changed, a lot's transpired since then for this group in particular. We've had a lot of ups and downs, but that was definitely a cool moment to look back on in the season.
We'll stay on the left side, third row, David Aldridge.
Thank you. Duncan, what's the specific challenge for Jokic as a short roller, especially, and the options that he provides everybody else on the floor?
Yeah, I think the fact that he garners so much attention because he can score, but you have to be smart with how you approach it because he's such a willing passer, and they're so good of playing off his overreaction. So finding that balance between making it difficult on him and throwing different looks in multiple defenders or what have you, while also making it so he doesn't constantly be able to get everybody involved in easy looks and get kind of them going as an offensive unit.
Left side, second row.
Hi, Duncan. Josh Moser. Good to see you from Channel 7 in Miami. Great to have you here. For the people that really haven't followed the Heat, what's the secret sauce that you guys have that just allows you to always will yourself to a win?
Yeah, I think we have a connection and a competitive spirit, especially lately, just throughout the midst of this run. I think it's kind of all coming together at the right time. And, those two things alone can really, really carry you, especially, you're going to have stretches where, ball's not going in or maybe not playing the way that you want to as a group. But if you kind of have that collective trust and competitive spirit and grit to fall back on, I think that always gives you a chance.
First row on the right side.
Tyler King, Denver Gazette. Duncan, there's a lot of veterans on both sides in this series, but specifically for you guys with Kyle, what kind of value does he bring into the locker room leadership-wise, and just what is his intensity like on a day-to-day basis?
Kyle brings a ton of experience, obviously, from a years in the league standpoint, and then also a playoff experience and somebody who's held that trophy at the end. So it's a huge luxury to have somebody like that in the locker room. And, obviously I share the court with him a lot, kind of in that second group. And, he just can come in and just change the whole rhythm and flow of a game. And his impact is so much more than what you see in a box score or, what shows up in terms of maybe the game film. He's a trusted leader, somebody that we all kind of count on. And I think he does a really good job of navigating that line between, discipline and kind of holding people accountable while also maintaining a certain sense of humor and levity to it as well. So he's been huge for us, for sure.
Last question for Duncan. All right. Thank you, sir.
Josh Moser from Channel 7 in Miami. A lot of people make a lot about the altitude. How will the altitude affect you guys?
Not worry about it at all. We're ready to play. It don't matter where it's at, where we're playing. We're ready for everything. It's not going to be a problem at all.
First row on the right side.
Tyler King, Denver Gazette. Max, a lot of people are going to talk about coming to this series, Jokic, Murray, but what kind of challenges for you guys defensively does Michael Porter Jr. bring? Just a 6'10" guy who can really get that shot up over anybody.
Mike's talented, man. I've known Mike since we got the same agent, so I've known him for a while. He can shoot the ball really well and get it off very quick. So he's definitely got to be a problem that we got to make sure we keep an eye on and not let him get too hot because we know if he makes a couple, he can get it going. So definitely got to keep an eye on him as well as the other guys.
Staying on the right side, fourth row.
Mike Cunio, CBS News Miami. Kyle was just asked about Jimmy Butler and how he can kind of get under people's skin, but maybe in a good way for you guys that come from a good place. Do you have a specific story of where he's kind of done that and you've been taken back and you're like, whoa, this was actually like a positive moment between you two?
Oh, it's probably something every day that I could say. Me and Jimmy got a unique relationship. It's like Kyle just said, like 2011, I was still in high school and watching him play on the Bulls, and me being from Chicago, just growing up watching him, it's kind of crazy that I'm on his team trying to help him win a championship now. So I'm just here to help him whatever he needs and whatever he asks me to do or for the team to do. I'm willing to do it because he's one of the most highest basketball IQs I've ever been a part of and been around.
We'll go to left side, fourth row.
Tanya Ganguly, New York Times. Aaron Gordon was here earlier, and he said that the thing that he thinks allows Jimmy to get under the skin of opponents is that he's so poised that he just stays calm through the course of a game, even though he's not saying a lot. That can irritate opponents. Have you seen that happening?
Yeah, Jimmy just wants to win at any cost. He's not worried about any of the extracurricular stuff. He just wants to play basketball at the highest level and play the right way, and that's how we're all built. And he just goes about it with that confidence, and he doesn't need to talk. He lets his playing do the talking, and we're all just here, following in his footsteps. And he just gives us, our team, the utmost confidence in each other.
One more question.
Max, David Aldridge with The Athletic. Kenny Smith has this great saying. He says, coaches can't give you confidence, but they can take your confidence away. And I wonder, with Spo, with you guys, it just seems like no matter who's on the floor, everybody is supremely confident. And I wonder if that comes from the physical challenge that you have to do to play for the Miami Heat, the mental challenge of having to be versatile to play for the Miami Heat, or if he articulates that in any way that makes players feel very confident when they're on the floor.
I think he gives the belief in you just by putting you out there. We've all come from two-ways or undrafted guys, so the ability to get the opportunity to play shows that he believes in you to the most, in the fullest. And it trickles down from our star players, guys like Bam, Jimmy, Kyle. They believe in everybody in our lineup that we can go out there and help win games and win at a high level, and to have the trust from them and the coaching staff just trickles down and has us be the most belief in ourselves, and it's a special thing. It's really a special thing to be a part of, and wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Any more questions? Okay, thanks a lot, Max. All right, do we have a first question? First row, first seat.
Tyler King, Denver Gazette. Kyle, and I was asking Jeff Green earlier about kind of your battles with him in college in the Georgetown Villanova days. I'm just curious if you remember those battles and just kind of what it's been like to play against Jeff throughout your respective careers.
They weren't really battles. We won every game that I played against him. Nah, man, it was that Georgetown Villanova rivalry goes back a long way. The respect that the two universities have for each other is awesome. The professionals, the pros that they've both made. But just being able to have a guy who's been in the league now 16 years, a guy that I played against in college, just kind of him going through his heart stuff, just to be able to see him, have this opportunity on the stage and be able to still be playing basketball at this high level is it's a pretty cool story for him. And you just kind of appreciate a guy like him for all the things that he's been through and still doing it, at a high level.
Third row in the middle.
The Denver Post. I know you guys have seen Denver since November of 21 when the incident happened here, but I'm curious, what do you remember, especially about the post game in that? I mean, was that, I'm guessing it had to be sort of a unique scenario. And then at this point, is there any lasting animosity?
I think it was just something that, it was a heated moment. It hurt a teammate of ours, and, we wanted to have his back, and we always, at that time, we're going to always have our teammates back in that moment. But you know, and I don't think there's anything festering. You know, we're at a different level. You know, we understand it's about winning 4 games right now. You know, anything that has happened in the past is things that, you know, we can't control right now. We got to worry about winning basketball games, and that's all that really matters.
On the right side, second row.
Kyle, Matt Moore, Action Network. Both in Toronto and here in Miami, you've been a part of teams that defensively, you guys can do almost anything. Zone, switch, all these different coverages. What does it take from the players to be able to play that style when so many teams can't?
Belief in trusting your coach, honestly. You know, and belief in each other. Being able to switch, you know, from zone to man to whatever you want to trap, double team, doing different things. You got to be able to have a sharp mind and be in the moment. You got to be able to say, okay, whatever coach needs, I can do or will do. And it's just, you know, it's fun to be able to switch things up, change rhythms, you know, because sometimes, you know, you just got to do something different, and which in Toronto we did that, and in Miami we're doing that now. We're switching up and doing different coverages, different things, and the versatility that we have on this team is pretty remarkable.
On the left side, second row.
Hi, Kyle. Good to see you. Josh Moser from Channel 7 in Miami. You're one of the few that have been here and that have won it at this level. How much does that experience help, and how do you use it in this series?
I think it will help a lot, you know, but we also got a head coach who's been doing it a long time also, has been here more than me. But I think just for me and in this moment with these guys, I'll be able to help just kind of keep our focus, stay here. And, you know, we also got Udonis Haslem, who's been here, who has 3 rings also. But I think we're just prepared mentally just to stay stable no matter what happens. And it's kind of been our season the whole year, just being here and staying in the moments.
On the left side, fourth row.
Tanya Ganguly, New York Times. Why do you think, what have you learned about Jimmy's personality playing with him, and why do you think it's worked so well with this team?
His personality is very different. He's one of a kind. But how he treats his teammates, he treats his friends, it's like no other. And I think that's what helps us, you know, as a group. You know, he may say some things or he may do some things that, you know, you might be like, oh, whoa, but it's coming from the best part of his heart. And when you got a guy like that and you respect him at that level, and you knowing that he's willing to do whatever it takes to win basketball games and treat you at a high level, you know, he's our leader, so we just follow him.
You know, you just mentioned, like, he'll do some things sometimes where you're like, whoa, but then you know it's coming from a good place.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because we're around him every single day, unfortunately, but fortunately. But being around him, you just get to learn the guy and just learn his true love for the game and his true love and for winning and for you as an individual.
We're going to take 2 more questions. David Aldridge.
Kyle.
What up, DA?
What's up, sir?
Hey, man, chill.
Hey, I'm going to take you way back to 2011.
Damn, dog. You aging me so bad. Max was still in high school.
Think how old I am. When you were in Houston, you had a rookie teammate named Ish Smith.
Yep.
And Ish is finally in the finals. I just wonder what you remember about that year with him.
He used to embarrass me and Aaron Brooks in practice. Too fast. Couldn't keep up with him. I ain't gonna lie. I used to dislike having to go like really live practice against him. But if you go back and people go look at his journey and the things he's been through to finally get to this point of getting to the finals, you know, I can't wait to just see him and say hello. And every time I see him, you know, he still called me vet. You know, he was just a good kid, you know, coming out of Wake Forest. You know, he wasn't the best shooter, but can get anywhere on the floor at any time, any moment. He was always a special kid and a special guy. And, you know, sometimes you just have these stories that people should look into because his story is a very unorthodox story. And, you know, I'm sure he's happy to be in this moment.
Final question on the left side.
Joseph Cacharo, The Score. Kyle, so much is made about this team's resilience, and especially this year because the run you've gone on as an 8 seed. And I was just curious, now you being in a couple of years, how would you define Heat culture? Because it's one thing for us to talk about it or write about it, but as someone in it, like, how would you define it? What separates this organization from others?
I think we just don't care about what others think. I think we do what we do no matter what. I think we work hard no matter, the time, the place, the situation. I think we prepare ourselves, and we're well prepared to go into any situation, no matter where it is, what time, anything. We're prepared to do it, and I think we have and the culture is just about believing, and we believe in what we do every single day, every night, the work we put in. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Starting on the right side, second row.
Fábio Malavasi, NBA Brazil. Gabe, you are the most compelling story of the season, the way you're playing, and the important role that you have for the team. And of course, being the final is a special situation. How you summarize this season and how you achieve this goal to be here?
The season's been interesting. We've had highs, we've had lows. Obviously, we've made a push from the 8th seed to the finals. We've showed a lot of resilience, a lot of persistence, a lot of belief in one another, and we're just excited for the opportunity that's ahead.
Left side, second row.
Hey, Gabe, good to see you. Josh Moser from Channel 7 in Miami. You guys have won games on the road, especially 3 of them in Boston. How do you have that carry over to start the NBA Finals?
Yeah, obviously we take the experience from this past series into the next, but this is a totally different series now. We start from blank, we start from scratch. It's 0-0. We just try to approach each game with the right mindset and come out here and just try to take care of business.
Go to the left side, fourth row.
Tomer Zarli from Clutch Points. Gabe, first one, how's your ankle doing? You doing all right?
Doing well, thank you.
And then I'm curious, this team plays with a lot of confidence. I know you guys probably get tired of all the undrafted stuff. Who for you helped develop that kind of confidence, that type of leadership? When did that start for you? What age, and who helped you develop that?
I'm sorry, at what age? Just in life?
Yeah, did that confidence in leadership kind of develop for you, and who helped you with that?
I'd say the support of my family and friends has helped me over time, but I think you grow confidence in anything you're doing with the amount of work you put in, whether it's cooking or golf or basketball. I think we all put a lot of hours and time in and extra reps and shots, etc., that when the time comes, you have faith and have confidence because of the work you have instilled. And this group especially is putting a lot of work on the court, off the court, battling together. So, we're definitely a confident group.
On the right side, first row.
Tyler King, Denver Gazette. Gabe, I talked with your old college coach, Coach Pasternak, the other day, and he was talking about how important your leadership was in your final year there at UCSB. I'm just curious for you what your time there was like and how it kind of shaped you and get you to where you are now.
Yeah, I'd say one of the most important things I learned at Santa Barbara was the value of relationships. And I just had to alter my leadership style maybe at that time as a young kid to what it is now, and just continue to grow and evolve and find ways to be a better leader, to better inspire, to just help move the needle with whatever group I'm with as best as I can.
On the right side, fourth row.
Hey, Gabe, Mike Cunha from CBS News Miami. I actually got a question from our friends at CBS Sacramento for you. They want to know what it's like to represent Central Valley over there, and if athletes coming out of that area are overlooked.
Yeah, it's awesome. There were athletes that came before me that I looked up to and I'm still close with. So I'm fortunate enough to be able to be the one right now that's in the limelight to be able to represent our area the best I can, and I look forward to being able to represent Miami as well and trying to get this title.
Any more questions? Going back to them.
Just a fun one, because I know people have made a big deal about Jimmy Butler's playlist lately. How would you rate his playlist going into these games?
10 out of 10. I love Jimmy's music taste. We go back and forth with music. I could listen to music with Jimmy for hours.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate y'all.
The Miami Heat are back in the NBA Finals for the 7th time in 18 seasons. And awaiting them are the championship debuting Denver Nuggets, who have arguably the best basketball player in the world, Nikola Jokic. The 2-time MVP is already one of the best centers in NBA history. At his side, Jamal Murray, perhaps among the best players in the NBA never to be an All-Star. And they also boast an elite supporting cast highlighted by Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Bruce Brown, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, along with a proficient and defiant head coach in Michael Malone. Jokic and Murray's modern-day Tim Duncan and Tony Parker-like combination, one that plays beautiful basketball for purists and nerds alike, often overlooked in mainstream conversations. Speaking of overlooked, they face the Heat. They're the toughest team in the NBA who thrive off immeasurable self-belief, scientific execution, and virtuoso head coach Eric Spoelstra, along with Jimmy Butler, an all-world playoff performer who averaged about 25, 8, 6, and 3 against the Boston Celtics en route to an Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The Heat are 12-6 in this year's playoffs, 9-5 as betting underdogs, and 3-1 as betting favorites. Yes, they've only been favored 4 times in 18 playoff games. The Heat, of course, have Bam Adebayo, arguably the best defensive player on the planet, who will be tasked with containing the world's most dangerous man dribbling a basketball. Can the Heat's unlikely heroes of Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent, among others, continue causing recalibrations regarding what their best actually is? And the elephant in the room. On November 8th, 2021, Markieff Morris fouled Jokic hard on a fast break and then walked away. But as he did, Jokic shoulder tackled Morris after building up a head of steam, injuring Morris, who didn't return until 4 months later. There was some arguing and that infamous locker room photo, but now we're here. Will the Nuggets win a title in their first NBA Finals, or will the Heat continue making the impossible possible, winning a 4th NBA championship in the process? I'm Brian Fonseca, and welcome back to the NBA Finals.